Hey everybody, welcome to Garrett's Games of Geekiness. We are a long-running podcast, an audio version, as well as this new video series that we're doing that we started after Essen 2024. Now some of you are like, Essen 2024, what is that? Well, this video is going to be based on one of my former students, hi Anna, who said, you know, there are some of us who aren't knowledgeable about these games. So we figured that we would choose 5 games each, which we've done, and talk about these games that are probably good for getting people into the hobby, and also maybe knowing some of the different types of games that are in this hobby, these board gaming hobby that we do here. So that's the plan for this episode, and hopefully you will enjoy it. So how you doing, Honey Bunch?
I'm doing great. How are you, dear?
I'm doing fantastic. So again, we've chosen 5 games each. These are games that we think are, maybe introductory games or, maybe a little bit higher level games that are going to be good for introducing to the hobby, that are hopefully readily available.
Yes.
And that, so that you can check these out. And if they are of interest to you, then hey, you can leave and ask questions in the comments. This is to get anybody out there, my former students, Shelley's former students, whoever it is, people who are new to the board game hobby who might be interested, and these are possibly games that you could enjoy. Now, before we get started, if you could subscribe, that would be great. Give us a thumbs up on this one. We want to get as many people as possible seeing this, so that would be a great way to do that, okay? Yeah. So, Shell, do you have your first game? Sure, we're going to start it up.
I think this game is perfect. I love this game, but I think it would be great to introduce people into the hobby. It's called Parks. It's by Keymaster Games, and what's so amazing about the game is it's really fun. It's pretty straightforward and easy to pick up, but the pieces are incredible. You are a hiker and you're going through the national parks, and you're collecting all these beautiful wooden pieces, and every animal is unique, and these represent the wild animals, and you're trying to make cards, think like a contract of some sort, where each card is a completely unique piece of art, all done by different people as well.
And they're all the different national parks.
And these are all different national parks, and it'll tell you at the bottom what the park needs. So, a tree, a mountain, some water, and those are the things that your hiker is going to collect as they go along a path. And so as you're going along the path, you're filling these cards, or you're picking up equipment that's going to help you with accomplishing it. You're taking photos, which are victory points as well. And each photo is actually based on those cards. And so everything is unique and different.
It's very pretty.
It's really beautiful. It's fun.
Yeah.
It can play 1 to 5 players, so that's kind of nice for the...
So even solo here.
Yeah, you could do that.
One of the things that I like about this is that you're just walking down a path, and you can choose to jump further down, and it's the person who's in last who gets to move next. And so it's possible for you to jump down, if you really need something, to jump towards the end and get that thing. But then, the people who are playing against you, they may get to move 1, 2, or even 3 spots before you get to move again. So
and
that
if you're playing
this
2 players, then you have 2 hikers. And that's extra fun too, because it's a little more strategic, because you're trying to get your pieces out. You want to maybe be the first one, but you also want to stay in longer to keep getting the stuff. And as soon as the last player jumps out, you only get 1 more turn.
Yeah.
So that's Parks.
Parks from Keymaster Games.
Yeah.
All right, so my first game is a little card game that we had so much fun with this past, 6 months or so. It's been out. It was originally a Japanese game, but then it was published here in the US, and that is Trio. Trio is a simple card game for 3 to 6 players. You have just a small deck. You have a bunch of cards that range in value from 1 to 12. And you're going to get dealt a certain number of cards based on the number of players. And there will be some cards out in the middle of the table. Now, I will tell you right now, I personally, and I think I can speak for Shelley on this one, not a fan of deduction games.
No.
We really, Clue, fine, okay? Everybody likes that.
But beyond that,
we don't like that whole, you gotta pay attention to this little itty bitty detail. No, this is a deduction game. It is so quick though. It is so fun. This is the type of game that when we were playing it, people are always, okay, another round. Got to do it again.
Everybody wants to play
because
this
the
again and
idea
again and again.
is, yes, definitely. The idea is that either somebody wins when they get 3 sets of 3s, or they get the single set of 7s. Now, you have to, when you get your hand, you have to put it in numerical order, and you cannot change the ending or anything like that. You can't, and you can never take cards out of the middle. You can only take cards from one end or the other, and then you are going to be asking other people to reveal cards, and possibly turning over cards from the middle, and possibly taking cards from either one side of yours or one end of yours, okay? So you can ask somebody, can you show me your lowest card? Can you show me your highest card? Or I can flip things over in the middle, and you're trying to find sets of 3. That sounds so easy, but it is so fun.
It's fun.
It is very fun.
Yeah, this will motivate most people to want to be card gamers at least.
Exactly. So again, that is Trio from Happy Camper. Really solid game for 3 to 6 players. All right, what's your next game, Shell?
Well, mine is the Clever series, Ganshon Clever and Clever Hawk Dre.
Oh yeah, so it's really clever, simply clever, clever again, all
Pretty
these different
clever.
clever. Yeah, pretty clever. That was one. Yeah, exactly.
But this game is so much fun because it has dice.
Yes.
But it also has lots of crossing off on a board, which you can laminate or you don't have to. That makes it so you can jump. And one crosses off another, crosses off another, crosses off another.
Yeah,
so
you get these chains going on.
It's very appealing.
Yeah.
And what's really cool is the active player, they choose the dice they want and put it on their board.
And then anything values lower than the die that they chose.
Yeah, it goes in this common area.
Exactly.
And then the rest of the players have to pick one of those dice.
Right. They get to choose 3 different dice,
right,
re-rolling in between their choices.
Right.
And then the dice that are left over are the ones that everybody else gets to choose one to mark off something on their board as well.
This is a game that, of course, is on electronic as well.
Yeah, I played it on. It's on like
electronic.
on iPhone.
But this is definitely a motivating game because it's so much fun and trying to figure. There's a wild in it. There's white dice, and it's just you're trying to get to the foxes, which give you multipliers at the end, but you just keep going, and I don't know. It's just
each one in the series is a variation on the same idea, and they're really fun. Definitely. Yeah. So for 1 to 4 players, you can play this solo, and as I said, it's even on iPhone and probably over there on the what is it? The other one, Google phones. Try that one out too over there.
Yeah, but this is definitely a winner.
There we go. For my next one, I chose Pollen. Now, this is a game that was a redesign of a game called Samurai the Card Game. The designer is Reiner Knizia. Now, Reiner Knizia is famous. He is one of the biggest designers in board games. And one of the things that he's been doing lately is doing some re-implementations of games that had come out, 10, 15, 20 years ago. And All Play is doing Pollen. And the reason I chose this over Samurai the Card Game is it is beautiful.
Very pretty,
right?
Yeah.
So you are trying with cards that have circular cutouts in each corner to surround different scoring tiles. And the person who gets majority around that is going to score and win those things, and you're trying to get the most points. So it's a set collection game and such, but really beautiful, really straightforward, and you've got to make the best of the cards that you have in your hand. It is for 2 to 4 players. It plays in about 30 to 40 minutes.
Yeah,
that's kind of what we're gearing towards here. Yeah. And this is Pollen from All Play and Reiner Knizia.
Okay. Well, speaking of Reiner Knizia, this is a game called Lost Cities, which we played so much when we first got into the hobby. And it's a great game, and it's still in print, so you can still buy it.
2-player only.
2-player only.
Yeah.
So this would be one you could introduce one game or two at a time.
Great for couples.
Yeah, it's a great one for couples.
Yeah.
So then they could pass it on to their partners and whatnot.
Yeah.
But basically, the whole game is you play a card to your tableau of cards, or you discard one to the common area, which you could grab later, or your partner could, or your opponent could grab later. Mm-hmm. And you're trying to go in ascending order, so there's some hand prints, so you can put a few of those out if you get them, and then you can go 1, 4, 5, up to 10.
Right.
But you have to have so many cards in order for it to not be negative.
Right.
So you're trying not to start ones that you can't complete.
Exactly.
But you're also trying not to give ones to your opponent through the discard. And you are going to be able to take cards back as well to make the game continue or to add to your own display.
Right, because as soon as the draw pile is gone, that triggers the end of the game. So drawing from, and there are 5 different discard piles because there's 5 different suits.
Right.
So you can draw from the discard pile, and then you're playing out to your tableau there, and possibly playing to build out your different paths that you've got so that you can score the best. But as Shelley said, you can score negative if you don't get enough cards down in the tableau. So a really solid game, Lost Cities.
Lots of fun, and it's only about 20 to 30 minutes.
Yes. Okay, we're moving a little bit up in complexity now, but this is a Spiel des Jahres winner. So Spiel des Jahres Game of the Year in German, and this won the Game of the Year a few years ago, Cascadia. This is from AEG here in the US, also Flat Out Games, and it is a drafting game. Each person is going to be building their own little tableau of hexagonal lands that they are doing, and they're drafting a land tile and an animal tile at the same time for each of their turns. The land and the animal are connected, only occasionally are you able to break that and draft a different land than the animal that's associated with it. And you're trying to score according to various cards that are for each of the animals that are out there. So you're looking at what you've got scoring, and you know that scoring right from the beginning, and then you're trying to make a nice long line of salmon, or get the bears surrounded by certain things, or off by themselves.
Or birds in the line of sight, not in the line of sight.
Right, or at the edges of your board, and various things. So Cascadia, great, beautiful game, and interesting because of the drafting and the mechanisms that are in it, and pretty straightforward. This is for 1 to 4 players, plays in 30 to 45 minutes.
Well, another game that I recommend to gamers or people that I want to get into the hobby is called Welcome To. What's super about this is this is the first one, but there are many versions of this game. True. So, if they end up liking it, they have plenty more to turn. They have plenty more to do. They can play more games. But this one is about making your perfect home. You have draw piles, you pull the cards, and you put numbers on certain buildings. It's one of these ones where you write on the board. Yeah.
Shelley had the Roll and Write. That's what the Clever series is called.
Yeah.
This is what we like to call a draw and draw. So it's got cards, and you're going to choose the options that you have for the cards, and then you're going to draw on your pad of paper as you're building out your neighborhood and such on the board and trying to score the best that you can for it.
And there's some free versions online.
Yeah, you can print out ones that are online, and so it's a way of adding to a game once you've already known it, and that's kind of fun too.
Yeah, so this one, they're all different. There's zombie versions, there's Christmas versions, there's Easter versions, there's tons of different versions of the game. The
last cool thing about this one is you can play solo, and you can play with as many people as possible, because all that matters is there are going to be cards out there. You have a couple of different options, and everybody gets to choose the option it has. So it actually says 1 to 100 players on the side of the box.
And so that really does open it up for pretty much any gaming situation.
Yes, exactly. All right, my fourth choice is a series that has come out. This was the first in the series and was nominated for the Kenner Spiel des Jahres, or was this the Spiel des Jahres? Whatever it was the one that it didn't win, but it was nominated. And this is In the Footsteps of Darwin. Really a solid game. Family level game where you're moving the Beagle, Darwin's ship, around the outside of the board and drafting tiles of different animals, and you're trying to collect sets and so on as you try and score here. This is from Sorry We Are French in the Footsteps of Darwin. Really beautiful game where you've got the board that opens up and everybody has their own player board, and you can get special people who are going to help you out in your discovery of the animals and so on. Really enjoyed In the Footsteps of Darwin. Worth checking out if you are new to gaming. What's your last one, Shell?
This one is called Just One. And if you were going to say to somebody, oh, what's a great party game? Best Well, I mean, I think it's the best, but it is a really amazing card game.
Definitely.
It's a lot of fun. Your whole point is to try to think outside the box.
For sure.
And you're doing things quietly, and you're writing them on your little whiteboard, and then you show, and then the person only gets to see the unique clues that are written.
Yeah, so everybody, you're trying to get one person to guess a particular word, and everybody else is going to be the clue givers, and you got these cool
game.
little easels that you're writing on. Yeah.
And maybe the word is croissant, and so someone might say curl, and someone might say pastry, and somebody might say flaky.
But if two people put flaky, then
that
that flaky is not going to be one of the things that they get to see. So you look at and you compare the clue that you give, and if more than one person gives the same clue, those clues don't get seen by the party. And so this is really.
And it's called just one because person's only allowed one guess, and you're only allowed to give them one clue. And if there's any
one of each clue, exactly.
One of each clue. And so, it's a lot of fun. And I've done this my whole classroom.
Yeah.
It's a game you can play it with just tons and tons of people. You can do it where you write on a piece of paper, or they can just verbally say.
This is solid, fantastic.
And it also has these really cool pens that wipe off the board. It's so much fun, and
this one
adults
great for
love this too. So
in fact, we were at BGG Con just recently, and on the last day, as everything was closing up, there was a group playing Just One over on one of the tables.
It's a winner.
Because it was like, yep, we're going to end the con by playing Just One. All right, the last one. Now, this is kind of, I'm thinking in terms of a series of games. A good friend of ours, who's a game designer by the name of Matt Laycock, designed a game called Pandemic. Did really well just a couple of years ago also. Had a resurgence when, we were all sitting at home and couldn't go out and stuff like that. That was the start of these games that are cooperative games where you're playing against the game. So Pandemic is a great one and easy to get. But the one that I wanted to recommend as a possibility, and one that I think has, if you win is even better, I think in terms of, my goodness, you're saving things, that is the Kenner Spiel des Jahres winner this last year called Daybreak. Daybreak is about climate and climate change, and you are trying to work with everybody is a different country or group of countries, and you're trying to decrease your pollution level, trying to get to renewable energies, and work to change it so that you are not increasing the temperature of the planet and trying to save the climate. I think this is a great game. This is the heaviest of the games that we've shown.
By far.
But it is a game where you are using cards and you're chaining actions together by using those cards, possibly discarding cards to get more, and so on and so forth. Great game from Matt Laycock and Matteo Menepes, and we really enjoyed Daybreak.
And this is super because you can have a new players with it because you can help them and you're working together. And does anyone have cards like this?
Right, exactly.
So it's a lot of fun.
So those are our 5 each games that we suggest as people who are getting into this hobby or possibly want to explore this. Let us know what you think. Let us know in the comments if you have any questions. And of course, we're always here checking out new games and want you to let us know if there's any games that you would like for us to review and take a look at. You can support the podcast by going to patreon.com/GarrettsGames, or down in the show notes is a bunch of games that really no longer fit on our shelves, but belong maybe on your table. We hope to hear from you. We look forward to you getting a thumbs up and subscribing. And until next time, take care. Bye.